Okay, everybody, let's talk about the major activities in this course. There are lots of things that you're going to be required to do in this course, and basically I've uploaded an overarching list of kind of the basics of what you're going to do. I didn't put in the details, that's what the videos are going to be for, but for instance, in the beginning it's talking about things like, oh, you need to participate in the surveys, you need to do assignments on the 595 papers and things like that. So I've got that paper posted. I have also posted a thing that's just about the two major projects that are turned in, the individual project and the group project. So there's kind of a description of both of those for you to see. Those are in D2L, so go ahead and look at those. But the things that I'm going to talk about with you guys are what I consider the three major activities. So these aren't two of them are projects, but one is not. So this one right here, the research paper. Okay, this is one thing about this course that it's a little bit tricky because it depends on what program you're in. Okay, so most programs have either a 595, which is just a flat-out research paper, or they have a 518, which is a thesis option. Okay, and which route you take in your program, in your major, will determine how many courses you have to take, and sometimes what those courses are changes depending on whether you take the research route or the non-research route. That's what they call it, thesis or non-thesis, that kind of thing. So you'll have to consult with somebody in your department about exactly which one of those you should take. Hopefully you already know which program you're in, and so you know whether you should be looking at a 595 or a 518. Either way, for purposes of this course, the templates of those are very, very similar, because basically in the math department we have kind of stolen the template from the 518, the thesis, and edited it slightly, and that has become our template for our research papers for 595s as well. So it looks similar in the math department, although normally what people say is that a thesis is original work, which means you have to prove something or do something that other people haven't done, whereas a research paper is basically just a really advanced putting together, synthesizing, so to speak, other people's research. So you don't have to do anything original normally for that, okay? So that's the difference between the two. And then the process normally goes like this. Find a class or topic that you like. Class or topic or material that interests you. Because if it doesn't interest you, then you will not continue to work on it. Okay, and this is a fairly self-motivated process that everybody has to do, meaning that normally you're not meeting with a teacher, you're doing this on your own. So you'll have an advisor. So you need to pick an advisor. And for purposes of our course, we're going to go ahead and have you do this. You're going to decide on a topic that you like, that interests you, and you're going to pick an advisor, okay? So this is not in stone. That's the interesting part, the tricky part of this course. It could be that this ends up being what you want to do, and if you have an idea of where you want to head, I highly encourage you to go ahead and use the topic that you will for your 595, because some of the things we're going to do will help you get ready for that. For instance, in your research paper, whichever one you're doing, you are going to have to do what they call a literature review. Okay, a literature review is where, so pick a topic. My topic for my master's paper was Carl Gauss and the 17 Gone. Okay, so I picked Carl Gauss. Now I'm going to have to do a literature review. So what I need to do is I need to go exhaustively search through the journals and the databases, and we will talk about those later. But I need to go look through those and find all the topics that are all the articles that are about Carl Gauss. I need to find all the articles that are about 17-gon. Maybe I need to look at stuff about geometry and non-Euclidean geometry versus Euclidean geometry. So I need to put some of that stuff together so that I will have some lovely resources, reference papers, and those are going to go into my literature review. Okay, so if you're taking this class, you might as well benefit from it, right? So if you're really, really wise, you should take a little bit of time. You have to tell me by Thursday what your topic is, but you should take a little bit of time and think of the topic and the advisor and try to do something that's actually going to benefit you as you move forward. Now, if you think this is your topic and then as you get into it, you go, oh, this stinks, I don't want to do it, that's fine. I'm not going to hold you to it for the rest of your master's career, right? This is just so that you can have something to focus in on and to do the assignments that we're working on. So the way this will work is that you will have several assignments on all of these big activities that we're doing. So your first one, for instance, is go pick a topic, put into D2L your topic and your advisor. Okay. Normally everybody goes, how do I pick an advisor? Well, normally the advisor is either a faculty member that you've had a class with or that you're going to have a class with, or maybe it's a faculty member who works on a certain topic. For instance, I have had people approach me wanting to talk about a master's thesis in math history because I teach math history. So perhaps they liked my class, perhaps they didn't like my class, but maybe they like a particular topic in that. Anyway, it needs to be a faculty member, and you have to talk to that faculty member and say, are you willing to be my advisor? Please, please, please help me write this research paper or write this thesis. It's a lot of time and commitment from the advisor because they're going to end up meeting with you pretty regularly to get this done. And sometimes it's supposed to be done in a semester, but sometimes it takes 2 or 3 semesters, maybe a year, blah, blah, blah. So it is time and commitment. So that's the first thing that you need to do is drop me a thing saying who your topic and your advisor is going to be. And then next week, during week 2, you're going to have another assignment. It'll be also in the same Dropbox, the same folder. And you're going to have, I think it's up to 6, don't quote me on that, articles that support or talk about your topic. Why am I making you do that? Well, a couple of reasons. First of all, I want you to get used to looking in the journals and the databases because you need to be familiar with that. And second of all, this helps you get the basis for your reference section for your literature review, right? I think it was 6. So you're going to have to start looking through those journals and finding stuff. So you might as well start thinking about what articles can you find that are out there that might talk about this stuff. Okay, and then the third thing that's going to happen off of this 595 section is that you're going to have to fill out some templates. Now, I'm not going to make you write your 595 in 2 weeks. There's no way to do that. However, there are some templates that you can fill out. There's a title page, there's a copyright page, there's a signature page, there's a Vita form, so you need to be thinking about those things. So I'm going to get those templates up for you, and those will be due sometime next week. You'll need to change the page so that it is valid for your topic. So there's several things you have to do inside of this one research paper topic. Okay, this one activity is actually kind of a multi-part activity, but I find that by breaking it up into smaller chunks, it actually helps students to get these things done and not stress out so much about them, because if you just look and go, oh my gosh, she's going to make do all this stuff, this big thing, then you'll freak out. But if you go, oh, just for this week, all I got to do is think about what's my topic and who's my advisor. Okay, maybe if you're for real about doing this now, maybe I'll go ahead and talk to my topic, talk to my advisor about my topic and get them to agree to be my advisor, right? So that would be really lovely if you could really get on the track for that. That'd be awesome. And then all of this would not be just mock stuff, it would be real stuff because you'll be able to use it later whenever you're doing all of this final project stuff. Okay, so that's one major activity in the class. The good news is there are 3 major activities in the class. However, there are not a lot of little things in there. Everything that we're going to do for the most part starts building into these 3 things. We have a week where we talk about ethical situations in research, and although that's a bit of a sidetrack, it is in that it doesn't feed directly into some of these activities. It is necessary that you know all those ethical comments and stuff like that. So they're going to be really, really useful as we get there, and you will see that they pay off as you start doing some research things. So that's coming, but pretty much everything we do will feed into these 3 activities. So don't stress out going, oh my gosh, she's going to make us do all this stuff. Even the videos, even the discussions, everything pretty much feeds into these 3, so you'll be okay. Promise you, I've taught this class before, a couple of 2 or 3 times, and it'll be fun. It just seems like a lot. Okay, number 2, journal articles. Okay, in your D2L shell, under activities and then assignments, there is a folder for the research papers where you can drop all these things into, and there's a folder for journal articles, which is your individual project. Okay, this is your second major activity. Okay, this one is the big one that's due June 15th. I'm sorry, June 18th. I'm having problems with dates this semester. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm just not even going to put a date on this. Look in your D2L shell. There you go. So, journal articles, individual projects. That's just so that I can reuse this video later. Teacher trick, sorry. Okay, so journal articles on individual projects. Whenever you look at this, it might seem like a huge thing because, yes, you're going to write me a journal article. Yay. Okay. That's all right because it's not that complicated and I don't want you to freak out. We're going to take it one step at a time. So again, step number 1 is pick a journal that you want to publish in. Okay, maybe you like the notices if you're a hardcore math person. Maybe you like teaching children mathematics if you're wanting to be an elementary educator. Maybe you like the mathematics teacher if you want to be a high school math teacher. So different ones for you to look at. There's all kinds of journals out there. If you're not a math major, if you're a chemistry major or a physics major, I'm sure there are some premier journals that you're going to want to possibly publish in if you go into a career in higher education. All right? So look around, see what the journals are, see what things pop up whenever you type in this topic into the databases, and what journals there are, and what are the good ones, what look like that people use them a lot. And we'll talk later about what makes a journal article really good and why people like certain ones more than others. There's a whole topic on that. But for right now, you just pick a journal that you want to publish in, and then you need to go to their website and find their requirements. Okay, requirements for publication. It'll be there somewhere. Maybe they want 5 pages minimum. Maybe they have a 5-page max. Maybe you have to publish in MLA format, or maybe you have to publish in APA format. Maybe they only take submissions in April and in October. Okay, so if it's December, then you've already missed the October, and you know you're going to have to get in before April, or else you're not going to get published. So find out what their requirements are, and these things, again, you're dropping into the folder, and this is your first little step, is to find out the requirements, see what you have to do. Maybe there's a certain font size or whatever that they want, okay? And you're going to drop that in, okay? Then later, okay, you'll see something that looks familiar. You're going to need about 6 articles that support your topic. Okay? Again, if you're truly being wise and double dipping a little bit here, these can be the same articles as what you're doing for your research papers, number 1 up above, if the topic is the same. So you might want to think about that. Now, some people don't want to do that. Some people might actually have a topic that they want to talk about, okay? So, for instance, if you are a classroom teacher and you've been doing some action research in your class, which basically means you're actually using your students as little guinea pigs, and you have been writing about, or you have been, let's say that you have been using a particular rubric or a particular diagram, something like that, or a particular software system, okay? And you've been using that in your classroom, and you've got like some control students who did not use it and some treatment students who did use it, and you're seeing a significant difference for the people who did use the diagram or didn't use the software, whatever. Okay, so you feel like you have something that you want to share with the community. This is more for teachers, because teachers do a lot of action research in their classrooms. But you want to share. Maybe you need to look at the middle school math teacher or the mathematics teacher for high school, or the elementary teaching children mathematics for elementary children. Okay, so, but if you have a topic and you're like, look, I already have this, I already have data collected, yay, and I want to share with the world, and I want to go ahead and get a heads up, a foot forward, and get me something published. Absolutely, go for it, okay? You still need 6 articles that are similar to support your topic and to act as a reference section, to be your literature review, so you still need to do that. But absolutely, this does not have to be made up, and it does not have to be the same topic as your research paper. So you really, this is very individualized. That's why it's called an individual project. And you really need to think about it. And if you have questions, you can bounce them off me and send me emails. And I'm glad to talk to you about your process, okay? And then the 4th step is that you write the paper. Okay, don't worry about the 4th step yet. We're not there. Don't stress out about it. All you need to be worried about right now is steps 1 and 2. Pick a journal, I guess I should say, and a topic. Pick a journal and a topic to publish, and then find the requirements from that journal for publication, and you're going to share that information with me, right? That's going to go straight into the folder for your journal articles. That's the first submission that you're going to make for me. It can be like a PDF, a doc, whatever. So drop it in there. Let me see what it is that you're wanting to do, okay? And then based off of what you tell me here, that's how we're going to proceed for your project for the rest of the semester. And I'm going to help you, and I can help you edit if you have a paper you really want to get published, okay? If you don't want this to be just an exercise, just a mock thing, then I can help you with that, and we can work on your publication, okay? I think it's brownie points for anybody who actually gets their stuff published. That'd be amazing. I've had one person who took this project and did submit, but I don't think that they got it published. I think they just submitted and got feedback from the journal about what kinds of things they'd like to see and how. So I don't think that they got it published though. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about journal articles. Basically, there's a peer review process and see how that would look later on. But for right now, I just want you to think, what's my topic? Find a journal that you're interested in publishing in, and then find out what their requirements are. That's all you're doing for right now. The rest are steps that come later, so there'll be later submissions. Okay. And last but not least, the big one, yay, project. Let me do this. Number 3. Why is this pen not writing? Goodness. Number 3, big one, grant writing project. There we go. Grant writing project, and this is a group project. The class doesn't have very many students in it, so I think that we can probably write a large grant and then split up the pieces amongst ourselves and have a few little small deadlines in there. What I plan to do is on day 3, I will post up. I've got my most recent grant that I wrote, the RFP or RFA, which if you don't know what that stands for, RFA is a request for applications. So here's our first step. RFPs and RFAs for the group to look at. That's the first step. That's the one you need to have by Thursday. I know I'm not supposed to end a sentence in a preposition, but oh well. Okay, so this needs to be done this week. So what I'll have is on day 3, I'm going to post up the last one that I did so you can see the RFA, which is request for applications. RFPs are requests for proposals. And I'll have that on so you can kind of see it, and I'll show you a lot of examples on the day 3 video. But what you're going to need to do is go out and look for some kind of grants that are out there. Now, if it's an old grant, that's okay, but I'd rather they be active grants, things that they're really looking for right now. And you're just going to post this into D2L so that everybody can take a look at the RFAs. And as a group, we'll decide which ones we want to write and which ones we don't. I think everybody can work together, but it is it's a small group, but it's large enough that we can do a fairly large grant proposal. This can, again, be either a mock grant that, oh, we're just getting the experience of it, or it can be a real one that you want to submit. So in the times that I've taught this class, I've had 3 different ones that they wanted to be a real one. However, only 2 of those have actually submitted, and only 1 was funded. So grant writing is not always successful, but sometimes it is, and you just got to look forward to the ones that actually get approved for funding, which is awesome. So the first step is going to be just bring in stuff. The second step is the group chooses one, and we'll pick an RFA to apply for, or we'll write a submission. Okay, we'll pick one. That's the next step. The next step is we'll part it out so that each person doesn't have too big of a piece that they have to work with. The next step is we'll put it all together. The next step is to fill in any missing pieces. And the last step is editing and go for approval. Okay, so we're going to do all of this in the next 5 weeks. Yay! All right, it looks daunting and it can be crazy. There's going to be a lot of conversations going back and forth amongst the group, so I highly recommend that inside of the student lounge that you figure out ways that y'all can either get together at the same time or leave messages for one another or have a group Zoom meeting or a chat or something so that You know, some of this doesn't have to be done in D2L. We can have some live meetings and that kind of thing if that suits the group better, okay? Because sometimes you just have to have a conversation, dang it. And normally we would be in class and I would give you class time to do these things and that'd be awesome. However, since we are online, we're just going to have to make it work. So we'll figure out ways for y'all to communicate efficiently and be able to make these decisions. Okay, it looks daunting, but fortunately for us, we only have one step that we have to worry about right now. And I promise you, if you just do things step by step the way that I lay them out in the course, we'll get done. I've done this before. Okay, so trust me, I've done this before. So right now, what we're doing is by the end of this week, we need to see at least one RFA per student posted into the grant writing project discussion, which is under activities and discussions. So inside of there, there's a forum that's for grant writing, and inside of there, you need to drop in an RFA so that people can look at it and say, hey, we like that one, or we don't. So I'll talk more about this on day 3. But just a heads up, this is where we're going. And then this is the overall process. And we will be able to do it, I promise, guys. Okay? So pretty much everything that we're going to do this 5 weeks is going to tie in some way with these things. And we're going to do it. And it's going to be great. And by the end of this semester, you will have learned so much about journal articles and grant writing. So good luck, and I'll get these posted and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.